Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do this recording for round 2 and give you some updates as to where you are. So looking at Universe 1, looking at Sean and Holly, definitely high in revenue and sales, invested a ton. So you can see how much they invested between feature costs, some contract manufacturing, and then variable production, so must have been building some plants, so that's in there as well. And research and design, Holly spent a lot on research and design, so profitability is a little bit lower from that perspective. Jordan needs to work a little bit on prices, and then I think you'll be able to fix this. And then Chelsea and John and Trevin, right there in the middle of things, along with Orange Crush as well. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and quick take a look at Universe 2 while we are here. So this universe, we've got Charlie at 2.3, Kelly at 2.0, and then a group of people like Ashley and Jocelyn and Garrett and Madeline kind of in the middle there, even Team Navy. I gotta see who Team Navy is. And then Courtney here. So everybody's in the positive except for Courtney and Garrett. Garrett invested a lot. So if you look at his total research and design, that's primarily where he spent a boatload of his money. So hopefully within the next couple of rounds, this will make up for it. You can also see, like as an example, long-term loans, and there's a huge short-term loan in here. So Garrett, make sure you address the short-term loans. You don't want short-term loans. That will definitely impact your overall success rate, because you got to pay that back at a much higher interest rate. So maybe look at selling some stocks or moving some money around to pay down that debt. Long-term debt is a lot different than short-term debt. So looking at Universe 2 in their market reports and where you are from an overall percentage of sales, Jocelyn at 19% and Charlie at 18% for market share, and then 14 and 13 with Kelly and Madeline there. So looking at this, just a couple of things that I see that might be a little bit like out of range. So Jocelyn, I think that you're skating a little bit low on pricing here. Make sure that when you're pricing for profitability as well. Now, I don't know. I'm just going to take a look here. Yeah, you have three, definitely three features. So it's not like you're low on features, but I definitely make sure that you're pricing it so that you're also getting the most out of it. Cheap is really great because you can sell a lot, but that's not necessarily helping you overall. So I would make sure that you are making enough profit with what you're selling, and with the capacity that you have, that you're making that right mix. So if you don't have enough capacity to meet your demand, as an example, and you price it too low, you are leaving money on the table. And there's a right mix to that, so you have to balance that. Let me just take a look at Jocelyn. So you can see Jocelyn as an example. Your low prices are really great, but you're 4,000 units short. That means you're pricing it way, way, way too low. So you want to bring that up just a little bit, because people would have paid more for your product. There was that much demand, especially in Asia. So be careful, because you don't have the capacity to handle the prices that you're putting that at. So I think that's a lesson for everybody, just to look at cheaper isn't always better. We're in a society right now where we think that we're just going to buy based on price, and if we mark everything down cheap, people will come. It's that Walmart mentality. People will come, people will buy our product, and they don't want to pay a lot for it. And if everybody follows suit, that's great. But then you've got businesses going out of business consistently because they're not making the profit that they need to make to compete. So pricing is just one component of the entire equation, and you really do need to balance that. Taking a look at, not round 1, I want round 2, but Universe 1. taking a look at the first place, I think similarly with Orange Crush, you'll kind of find yourself in that same boat where you're just a little bit under everybody else. This isn't bad here, but I'd be a little careful here, and even more so here. I think you're losing some sales there, and if I looked at yours, I'm just going to go to Asia because that's usually where people don't have quite as many plants. And you can see that you did lose, you sold out in Asia as well. You didn't have enough capacity. So again, just watch your prices overall and balance that. Because in Asia, you're shipping from the US. So if you sell out in the US, you're not going to have enough for your customers in Asia. Now, a couple of you are too high too. So on the flip side, Sean B, too high. Trevin, too high. Holly, too high. So for the folks that are too high, like bring some of those prices down and your sales are going to definitely increase. Now Sean actually isn't doing too bad from a market perspective. I am guessing maybe everybody else ran out. I don't know how that's possible. Because yeah, 54% of Tech 2 and you're pricing it pretty darn high. Although in Europe, there isn't as much competition overall. So you're really low in Asia here, Sean. So compared to your other competition, this one you might be able to raise up a little bit, but this one needs to come down. That's why. So you sold a lot in Asia. If I looked at Asia and Sean, yeah, you sold quite a lot of units in Asia on both fronts and sold out as well for Tech 2. So just something for you to pay attention to there. Okay. I'm going to head over to productivity because I think inventory is a thing. Jordan clearly isn't selling as much, so that's why there's so much extra here. So watch that. Next round, you should start having a few more production plants if you built it. If you're like Sean B and didn't utilize everything that you currently had, I would kind of watch that as well. I'm just going to take a look at contract manufacturing. So Sean, you used contract manufacturing, but you didn't use all of your own production. So I wouldn't use contract manufacturing unless you're utilizing all of your production and you need it. So definitely make sure either to increase these to 100% for Tech 1 and Tech 2 or remove the contract manufacturing. And then just taking a look down here, nothing jumps out at me extraordinarily here. Go back to Universe 2. And I definitely take a look at my last week's video if you haven't already. I gave a lot of really good pointers in that. And I see some of you used that feedback and some of you didn't. So definitely go back into the announcements and look at the last video. I think that will definitely be helpful. You guys here do much better with the utilization perspective. Courtney, a lot of inventory in Tech 1. I might scale back my Tech 1 production for a round or two because that's quite a bit. And just a couple of other little bits of inventory, but I think you guys can adjust that. You know, I'm okay if your utilization drops 1 week because you're not making as much of one of your products to get rid of your inventory. I think that's a good thing to do, but you just don't want to dip down too long for too much time, and then you shouldn't also make it up with contract manufacturing, I guess, if that makes sense. So and also for your contract manufacturing, this 6 and 30 and 15 and 10, that makes no sense to me. So your contract manufacturing is by units, and you shouldn't be, I mean, 33,000 units isn't enough to contract manufacture. It's not worth the contract to do that. It should be probably in these types of increments for sure. And to fill in any gaps that you have. But 30 and 15 is not worth it. If you're that close, I wouldn't even do contract manufacturing. Contract manufacturing, when you're outsourcing, that contract is handled first. So whatever you have in here will be filled before your own utilization is filled. So that's just something to note and to remember. If you haven't already done the quiz, the Sesame quiz, make sure to get out there and do that. You guys should all have 10s on that, so I'm expecting you to go back and do that. And then let me know if you have any questions.